Hey everyone, Moms Against Medical Bullying. So I just wanted to go over like the first page of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so it says, in Congress, July 4th, 1776, a declaration by the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled. Let's see here for a second. Looking up. Let's see here. What looking up the word declaration in Black's Law Dictionary. So let's see. Declaration. A declaration is a noun, a formal statement, a proclamation, or announcement, especially one embodied in an instrument. So this is, I guess, this would be the instrument where the declaration is. Anyways, so it says, when, it's funny because when you read this too fast, you don't understand. You kind of like, it's kind of confusing. But it says, when, in the course of human events. It's interesting because some words are capitalized, like the word events is capitalized. It becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth. So there's some interesting words in here too, like powers of the earth. What does that mean? You know what I mean? And to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station. What is a station? The train station? I don't know. The separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. So nature and nature's God entitles us to separate and equal station to station. And to assume among the powers of the earth. To assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station. Undercover. To which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. What's wrong? What? You hurt your arm. Being rough with the dog?
No.
What?
Move my arm back.
I was looking here to see if I can look up powers of the earth in Black's Law Dictionary. I think that. Power. The ability to act or not act. So power is the ability to act or not act. Dominance, control, or influence over another. The legal right or authorization to act or not act. The ability conferred on a person by the law to alter by an act of will the rights, duties, liabilities, or other legal relations. Powers of the earth. To assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Then it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Self-evident. These truths are self-evident. Trying to see if I think it's nice to look up every, other word, because when you get to do a word study, it kind of, I don't know, gives it a depth in a way. Self-evident. Let's see, maybe they have evident in here. They have a lot of evidence.
Oh.
Alright, so we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they, all men, are endowed. They are endowed. Endowment, they have endowment. Endowment, a gift of money or property to an institution for a specific purpose. So we are endowed, all men are endowed by their Creator with certain alienable rights. That among these, I feel like that means there's more, but among these rights are life, right? And then you can get into what is life. What do they mean? Liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. So why are governments instituted among men? To secure these rights that we've all been endowed with by our Creator.
Get away.
So that's the purpose that government has, is to secure these rights. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So they derive their power from us. We give them their power. That's where their power lies in our consent. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, I guess, what do they mean of these ends, of these rights? When they become destructive toward these rights that we have been endowed with by our Creator. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. So it's the right of the people to alter or abolish it. A right is a noun. Something that is due to a person by just claim, legal guarantee, or moral principle. A power, privilege, or immunity secured to person by law. Okay, so we have a right. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Wow. What a lot of powerful words, you know? So anyways, yeah, it's the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem, so as it seems to the people, most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So how we see the best to suit our safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. How true is that? To me, what that says is, as you can see from the past, man is more willing to stay in the suffering, to stay in the oppression, than to rise up and abolish the forms to which they are accustomed. We get used to it. And I think that's the trick, because, you know, we can get used to like anything. That's why this whole mask situation, you say the right thing. And that's another thing. I want to dig into the word safety, but I have to, you know, safety. Our constitutional rights are always being trampled because of this word safety, public safety. So if you can convince people that this is what they need to do for safety, then they'll do it. I mean, obviously that's what's been proven to us. So instead of everyone saying, no, forget this, we're not doing this, we suffer. So then to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce then under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Let's look up despotism. Despotism. A government by a ruler with absolute unchecked power, total power or controlling influence. So absolute power, absolute control. I'm going to read that one more time. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance so these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. And then they go on to list all the things that he had done. And that's like 3 pages in this little book. But I'm going to stop there. There's a lot of words in just that short, beginning part of this little book. Words are power, When you get into depth about words and what they mean, they're powerful. Because sometimes, we assume we know what a word means based on our, current culture and the way that we talk. But it's interesting to look up words and go in depth into what they actually mean. And it's fun to do with the Bible, too. Because a lot of times when we read the Bible, when we read certain things, we hear the word that we heard preached to us, like in church. But when you stop and read it slowly and say, okay, what's this word mean? Let me go back in the Greek and look up to get a fuller meaning of this word. But I just wanted to read that. Take care.